So now we should set our motivation such that we think according to the following sequence in order to listen. And we should think as follows, that right now we've achieved human body, excellent human body, which is endowed with freedom to practice and all of the endowments that enable practice. And at this moment, we shouldn't be attached to the things of this world, pleasures of this world. Rather, we should think about how all sentient beings who have been our mothers are suffering, tormented by the three types of suffering. And in order to free them from that suffering, I must achieve Buddhahood as quickly as possible. In order to achieve perfect Buddhahood, I'm going to now listen to this teaching on the Mahayana Dharma.
Oh yeah. 그 가상 가르래서나 규퇴의 마셰지 가라. 뭐 준대래 된 주바당 세정. 아니 규퇴 셰지 가라. 가서래. 주바당 주바시당 아니 주바된다데 주바시당데 가사한테 나라셔야 돼.
So yesterday we were talking about the nature of the cause, with the cause here, and with regard to that, we were talking about the obscurations that obscure, and also then with discussing the persons who possess those kinds of obscurations, those four types of obscuration.
거의 동안 지지당 심전퇴라 되면이 세리기 다 당보니고 태기 가서라 출라 콘도 다다당 세가라 가서 주와나 신지리 가사들이나 아니 타바 메대지 타발라 셰itengen기 가사 직체 출라 콘도 봐 뒤에와라 아니 가서라 타발라 메와 연나양 안에 타바 가서를 남배 쳐了매반이 나양 아니 양 가서를 타바 터지기람 다음에 봐라 안에 들어둬봐 나도 좋았지 말아냐 뒤에 자유도 좋았지 겐기 아니 가사 지가나 쳐라 콘도 다다당 said.
So then the first line of verse 32 says someone who has disgust or anger towards the Dharma or possesses the view of a self That's referring to persons that, on the one hand, if they are completely opposed to Dharma in general, then there's no way that they can achieve liberation in any way whatsoever. But even if they don't have that kind of anger towards the Dharma, the hatred towards Dharma in general, if someone is subject to the view of a self, grasps at the view of the self, then they can't achieve liberation from samsara either.
Hiola, Semjan Tula Domini, Segala, Annie Semjala, Rani, or Shiva Tabatam Tendu Nishin, Annie Semjanji, Ten Dubala, Kudelang, Zawa Mengagi, Annie Raja Chegala. Or that Divadan Deva Kansa Dela, that to Shisha.
So then the next two lines say, someone who is terrified of the suffering of samsara, or that doesn't look towards the objectives of sentient beings. Those two has no consideration for the objectives of sentient beings. That refers to two kinds of persons. For example, the Shravakas who are fear samsaric existence, and then don't wish and la contact. The Nika Yorwa.
Shiva Choji Bala Human Jana Ina, Jana Yang, that Jibotela, Castle, Ranja Shadi Kala, any Simjan Dungadan, Tawan, Devabi, any Jumdeki Zawa maybe China Shaku and Bari. Tell a Demini, Simjan Dungaji Nawala, but Dewa Zani, Makasano Zani, Matawa. Any teller, Tedungada Chandugi, any bear, Hassandro Mary. China Shakuan, but some gentle Domini. The Jim with the Panam, Geranjunam, Jimnam Shi, that Casa Gula, Yangandela, the Jen, Mudiba, and Ranja Chani, to what you would.
So then the line which says they're terrified of the sufferings of cyclic existence or samsara, that refers specifically to the Shravakas who wish to achieve their own liberation because of fear of samsara. And then the next line which says that those who don't look towards the aims of sentient beings, who don't have consideration of the aims of sentient beings, that's referring to the obscuration which occurs for the Pratyeka Buddhas, or those who are following the Pratyeka Buddha path. And so each of these are correlated then with the four types of individuals which are listed in the following lines, where it says those having great desire, those having those of heterodox views, those who are heterodox, the Shravakas and the Pratyekas, those have four kinds of obscuration, and those are correlated then with having great desire. Having great desire correlates also with anger towards the Dharma, and the view of a self correlates with those who are heterodox or Tirthakas, and then the Shravakas have the fear of the sufferings of samsara, and the Pratyekas don't consider the aims of sentient beings. So those four kinds of obscuration.
Oh yeah, that jig Dindu Kasanshua Nashi Cheni, and it's Samzambagi. Sunzi Zeshenji don't be Tony Dejang, Kasaranja to be Zayi, don't be Tomba Kele Yang, and it's Sunzi Zeshenji don't be Tony Dindu the Tawa. Sunzi Zeshenji don't be Tony Dindu the Tawa, the Elsom Miru Tawa.
Well, and then on top of that, in addition to those kinds of obscurations, there's also the view of the Yogacara school, the mind-only school, which, although they accept that there's no self in the sense of a self-sufficient substance within the person, they nevertheless hold that perceiving subjects and perceived objects they're lacking any kind of duality in the sense of being two separate substances. That lack of duality or emptiness of that duality, they hold that to be real or truly existent, and that is then an additional kind of obscuration.
现在从这在现在东北当你顶住的大话的，当你点把出个大的啥吧，团结当你俺你没把大话拿行，是吧？当你点把马中的当你没把大个话现在团队当你没把大话拿行，听着话的，看是多一个素养，看啥都大话你来意，当你的老百姓把你太大没用了，俺们你写下来莫把咱面积，俺你。看是写下来么吧？写下他们家的国没得啦，看啥都大约那意思呢？看啥大都出大的那话的那个人是这个人是，可能呢，可大话的鸡蛋的大话起了的，特来讲，俺那当年的老板说话是的，当年没把大话。当你顶住的大话的，他插起个人。当你老板说话呢，看啥等大都出个大话，人家对位在都出个大话的嘞，拉的拉话，看啥干话的是个啥？当你这个看啥都大话呢拉伊，当你老板说话的太难去骂的，好过算，对的吧？
没把当你没把大话，
没把大话，当你顶住的大就听着干了，当你点把没把大。
So this kind of view of the Yogacara school, the mind-only school, which holds that the emptiness of there being substantial duality, or that subject and object, perceiving subjects and their perceived objects are substantially different or dual, that kind of that grasping at that kind of emptiness, that things that perceivers and their objects are empty of being two substantially different substances. That kind of grasping or that kind of understanding of emptiness, if you hold that to be real, you grasp that as being truly existent or real, then that's actually a kind of view which denies emptiness. It's saying that emptiness doesn't exist. 토니는 몇 번 따왔지? 토니
가사도 나와내라. 토니라 로바 쇼아니스.
토니는 로바 쇼.
대다 라와 말이스. 다 가사도 따와데 고라 몽바 잠레스. 라 몽방아마니 시체자라 몽바 잠레스. 아니 가사에 몽바 잠인지 야 안돼 도장.
이네 디 메파 디 가사도 랑루키 토니 메파 따와 시기.
Never tawa said Tony never tawa. Tony didn't do that, but Tony never tawa.
So what this is saying is this kind of view would entail that one denies the existence of emptiness as it actually is. One is essentially denying the existence of emptiness as it actually is. And that kind of view then is expressed as being a very bad, vile kind of view. It's said in a sutra, the Buddha said that people that hold to a self, that grasp, and here this is understood as referring to holding to a self as being a self-sufficient substance. That kind of view is relatively mild or not so bad, whereas those who hold to, who improperly apprehend emptiness, and here improperly apprehending emptiness is understood as the way it was described before, grasping at emptiness as being real or truly existent, and then consequently denying that it's emptiness as it actually is. That kind of view is considered to be extremely bad, and it's said that by clinging to that kind of view is grasping at things wrongly, and that kind of view, if you hold to that kind of view in that way, then one is almost, you can't be rescued from that kind of situation. The reason for this is that that first view, which grasps at a self as being a self-sufficient substance, is simply ignorance, a kind of confusion about the way things, about objects of knowledge, whereas but it's not a view which is denying or annihilating all objects of knowledge. So this kind of that kind of view, the first kind of view, grasping at a self-sufficient self, which is a self-sufficient substance, that kind of view won't entail that you fall into hell and so forth. It won't ruin you entirely. That kind of view, which grasps at the self as being substantially existent or establishes a substantial self-sufficient substance. It won't cause you to become separated from the training in ethical conduct. Whereas the other kind of view, which holds emptiness to be real, or which entails that one is denying the existence of emptiness as it actually is, that is the contrary of that. So therefore, this is explained, that view of the Yogacara school, the mind-only school, is here actually included within the view of the general view of grasping at a self as being substantially existent or a self-sufficient substance. So the first two types of persons, though, if to talk about those who have great desire, who are attached, have a great desire, as well as the tirthakas, those two have fallen into samsara. So since they are entirely, completely grasping at or hold to wishing to achieve rebirth within samsara, tachiktu So since their interest or what they're striving for is entirely involved in rebirth within samsara,
ranjani ane tabla shuvas.
So, on the other hand, the above them, then, the following them is the Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas. Those have entered into a method.
tabla taba tendu nyeshin ane koye dunga la chowa ge tabla shudi ane shiwa choji bala lunga yinzang.
So they're engaged in a method out of wishing to become free from samsara. They engage in a method which is designed to achieve peace, the peace which is liberation from samsara.
Oh yeah, tajulaba mewala ane sobi chuni ane namshi kasa namshi te tajulaba mewala sobi chuni namshi te se galata ngone nimbi rangsing ane gyudi shayade ta tiwana ma shagwade tajulaba mewala sobi chuni namshi te se
Takyu
sawal dua tajungola tajung ta zeu dawa de otagarala
So this is explained then below also where it says in the root text by interest or aspiration for the cause of purification, the causes of purification, which are the four qualities of aspiration and so forth. Have four aspects.
일단 가상 권도 얘게 주도 된디 간라 뭐단 주니오도 도 된디 간에 주도 된비 치고라 가상 얘게 시차로 다 디간가 가상 또 계셔디야 라는 시와리 최면라비写了但真正人家来去哇写的大概최면라비写了但真正人家来去哇写个他就多点个关系写吧的
Well, so then here this cause then for the purification of those obscurations has been briefly expressed above, and in those two lines of the verse which we just mentioned, and then those need to be explained more extensively as is given down below.
단다 되게 디바시보 되게 년보다 많잖아요效果 이 말이에요.
Do you know what page we're on in the Tibetan? 178.
저거 거죠.
Ah, page. Page lost.
아, 고마워서. Yes, one.
181. 공다.
Yamaso.
Nimbo subject nimbo
subject nimbo shabat ma leon goreta.
178.
Yamaso.
Nimbo chira tu shepalani.
Nimbo tempo de jewa shaba sai duwa ta tarma do. Tima leon gore. Jibi didn't give a sheba mara. Mare do go le ya. Do de ju zo yo mare. Do le. 다 다가라요. 다 싫어요 말에. 야치면 좀.
스콘다. 이 가와. 임프규 랑신 셰바.
담바 님보랑 시샤바 시도와 님보랑 시샤바 님보랑 시샤줘래. 더 거도다.
임프규 랑신 셰바.
님보규랑 시샤바 말이더라.
말에.
투조라면 사변 셔럽나 세대기 신다 셔지면 돼. 이모 소에.
Tepuchimbe chula mobala sopa didak dribu.
이와 땜바다 제와 샤바 턴두바 텔라 티바침보라 랍도 쇼와사 이도와.
这不是去没有加进步，
对的，真哟，什么脸嘛人的啊？这么。基本是单一点的，真支持的，都是的。你忘了什么？咱把它接完下吧。你忘了什么？咱把它接完下吧。你忘咱把什么接完下吧？吞吐啊！困住了的，快点多。困住了的，别讲。
Top of page 178 in the Tibetan.
这个。咱把它接完下吧，才存到的结果，等到我考虑了说，他这个看是呢，他就他把没有把那所谓去，是吧？他就他把没有把那所谓去年那么吸引，他这个念不得马写个的，没把那所谓念不得。
So then that last two lines of the verse where it says the cause of purification, the dharmas of higher aspiration, etc. Those have four aspects, and those are explained down here.
他这里你问你西康县呐，谁都我在那，我们没得亲戚，西康县呐谁的？看给你不强求三把那么特别前面去了没话光把你推着那么咋完了是吧？推着那么谁的？看给你不强求三把给特别前面去了没话光把你，你看的人是呢对见吧？你对见吧那么知吧？你特別前面去了當晚提給你不看見吧？
So it's at the top of 179 actually, or towards the top. In terms of the antidote to anger towards the noble dharma, it says the antidote here, or what the antidote is the bodhisattva's great meditation on great compassion.
去了当晚提給你不看見吧？ 看给提年不了，你强求三把那么就写了就爬到了情报光把的，是吧？去了光把你，先目的先那么就知吧？去那了大多大话这个年不一诺的，谁的？提着那么三本。 在这个看的人噻，推着没话的看的人不热噻，对象推不清不了，当晚那就人不热噻，是吧？人不人吧？我看给人不光被全球三八那就现在就跑到清吧光把的看的人不热噻呢，目的钱那么就只把钱了大多大话的给人不热。
And then, in terms, it's where it refers to the seed, which serves as a seed of that. Then it refers also to the antidote by which bodhisattvas, through meditation, the meditation which is admiration towards the Mahayana Dharma. This is referring here to the meditation on the perfection of wisdom, developing that. And that serves as an antidote for the obscuration of those who have great desire and that are angry, that have anger towards the Mahayana Dharma.
강근이 뭐 자주 생반 남지 난가 잘라서위 띵이지 저와 띵이지 공부하디 아니 가르냐 버레서나 코에 동아지 집이 아니 년대지 티바 저와 티바 코알라 코이 동아랍도 셰디 셰신 semjenji tenla temedu dewa meba ti nyembo
And so to go through these all in sequence, what are these four? As follows. As an antidote, the bodhisattvas, by meditating on admiration for the Mahayana Dharma, they are able to, that functions as an antidote towards the anger towards the Mahayana Dharma, which is the obscuration of those who have great desire. And then in terms of the antidote, which is the meditation on the perfection of wisdom, bodhisattva's perfection of wisdom, that functions as the antidote for the view of a self, which obscures the tirthakas with respect to phenomena. And then as far as the antidote, which is the bodhisattva's meditation on the concentration, meditative concentrations, such as the treasury of space and so forth, that serves as the antidote for the obscuration of those belong to the Shravaka vehicle, which is without looking towards, having consideration towards sentient beings, has simply the idea to achieve freedom, or which only looks at the sufferings of samsara, without considering sentient beings and abandoning them in that way.
Oh yeah, that is all. Some gentlemen told me said that you got a jadi. Kangini mo chaju sambanam, and it's a one inch chimbo gombani, Ranjaji Tiba, Ranjaji Tibanam Jitiba. Rawa Semjana Dungadan Chawan, Dagi Chao, Nyabaki, Haksam Kulmeba. Kulmizimbe, and it's Semjan Gitella, Jabji Chowagi, Semjan Gitella, Midova taking a boyimbare.
So then the last one there is that which is an antidote, functions as an antidote, which is the bodhisattva's meditation on great compassion. That serves to counteract those who belong to the obscuration of those who belong to the Pratyeka Buddha vehicle, and which doesn't have any kind of thought that I myself should free sentient beings from suffering. Doesn't think in that way, and without taking up that kind of burden the burden of the thought, which thinks I should myself separate all sentient beings from samsara, it turns its back on them and doesn't consider sentient beings and doesn't think about how to free them from all of their suffering.
So this is
then the way in which one, as it's explained below, how the antidotes are applied to or connected to each of the four types of obscuration.
So
then, if we look at the individual natures of these four kinds of antidotes, then we have to gloss what it means to have admiration for the Mahayana Dharma, etc.
Tabata Tande Tata Shi, Paro the Chimbashi, Paro the Chimbaki Jew, Gula cigarette, got the Jew shed, Captain Jew scared your more Jew said, Trebu, and it Tande Tata Shi, Paro the Chimba, take it to check.
So then here in terms of, we've been talking in terms of the cause, and then also in terms of the result, we have to, what we're aiming at here is achieving the state of of purity, bliss, permanence, and self.
Oh yeah. That take condition is and that Kasan Shua Taran Shua and the Titan, Tijo Lame said, Tiba Chogu, Gundeg Chela, Tizingi, any Gudan David Chela Meba, do other Dan Chanjuki Semdang, Jibi Dan Chanjuki Semdang, and a Jeba part of the Chimba Trudang, and your son Sonila Sawaki. Tiba Chogi, and a Gundela maybe Kuli Dewey, Dewi say, Gibi Sabin Dabode.
Dampodi Tapachimbola.
Tevachibi, Junde, Chola Mevasara, Tevachibi, Yukarere, Sana, Yujibi Dan Simji, Java Paro to Chimchibi, Chukinamle, Ani Sonam da Ishiki Sota, Debu, and the Telatena to be Sanjaki, Ani Castle, Gushi, Gushi, Dirwa, Hotel, maybe. Any Mewade. So
then what's being explained here as the cause is refers to admiration for developing the Mahayana Dharma, which is functioning like the seed of the universal emperor. In this here, this seed is expressed as admiration for the Mahayana Dharma, which includes everything from the development of bodhicitta, the aspiration, or development of the higher aspiration to free sentient beings, and as well as the bodhicitta, which takes on that responsibility, the practices that are done motivated by that, the six perfections, practice of the six perfections, and the achievement of the two collections of merit and gnosis, and then finally the result of that process of those two collections, the actualization of the four bodies of Buddhahood.
Zawanji Chimboda, Chanjuki Samla, Sawaki, Simbagi, and the Samotoni to be Sheramni, Sanjaki Chechabag, Madandrava.
So then, as far as the how the
Tabji Chachimbi Simbi.
Chachimbi Tony to be.
Samotoni to be Sheramgi, Sanjaki Chechabagi, Sanjaki, and Chechabag, Madandrava.
Oh, last one. And then the second one refers to the aspiration for the. Then the second one in which it is like a mother, which the mother for generating a universal emperor. It's here. It's the especially the wisdom which realizes emptiness, which is adorned with the vast, extensive portions of the path, the method side of the path, and it functions like the mother for generating the qualities of Buddhahood.
Oi, sheriff de Tibasumgi, ani Tadugi, ani Karasora, Chanju Topjiki, do Timoa Yinzang, Madandrawa.
So since wisdom is like the general cause for the generation of
sheriff de when you do the sheriff de Tiba Sumji, Rangi, Topji Chanju Tobara, Chebagi, and doing by Yizang, and Madandrawa.
So it's the wisdom is like a mother because it's the common cause for the achievement of the aims or the objectives of the three vehicles.
Ani Chanju Gisamdan, there were Niji Chimbote, ani Tiba Chimbi, ani Chanju Tabaki, Tobji, Tumo Mayimba Yimbe, ani Padandrawa.
So then the method side, which is particularly the practices which are done under the control of or conjoined with the bodhicitta, the aspiration to achieve Buddhahood, those all are the unique cause for the arising of the Mahayana path. And therefore, those are, that is considered to be like a father.
대외안에 세대리 아니 남가절라 소위 띵이 진기 뒤위 아니 삼대지 대화대 안에 내와도 최소바.
Then the kiwing alton problem 띵진 남게 줄 소바.
띵이 전에 띵이지라.
So then the samadhis or meditative concentration, including the ones such as the treasury of space, all of those are like the womb for the arising of the bliss of meditative concentration.
아니 토다 파슴도 가셔와 인장 가상 주변 나신 가셔와 인장 마마 태양 아니 부인나서야 심바체발라 아니 토다 파슴도 가셔와 인장 인지 지금 마마단 잡았단 말이야.
So then, as we said yesterday, then compassion is like a wet nurse or a nurse. It's here. It's said that just like when a child has been born, then the nurse has to take care of it. So here, compassion is said to be important in all three periods: at the beginning, in the middle, and the end. So that's how it's analogous to a nurse.
이제 다치리 아니 매와디 갑디까지 매와 대산에 간대지라서 그래서나 아니 티바 치비 근데 규단 대비 아니 가소래 규단 대부 대다라 티바 치비 근데 그 최대다라 아니 대바대라 당위 대바 운대지 대바 그래서 이식이 대바 숨 채위냐나 그디까지 대바디 아니 이식 대바라지.
So then here, in terms of admiration for the teaching, or admiration specifically for the Mahayana Dharma, here that's admiration here, or is basically a type of faith in it, or aspiration towards it. And here there are different kinds of faith that one can have, sort of pure faith, which is towards the cause and effect, causal relationship of the teachings of the Mahayana, the Dharma of the Mahayana. Then there's desirous kind of faith, and then there's faith which is confident in the and here this is referring to the last sort of faith of which has confidence.
因此，作为长久了每位每往一切为台北铁的，아니 조상 전이 그 장주铁的，전이 그 아니 전이 그 등박이 댄식이 와래. 댄식박이 대박이 등비 댄식박이 내신, 是吧？
등박이 댄식이.
등박이 댄식박이 내신.
인지 가서
대박 대라 때나 아니 전이 그 등박 제바 인상 대박이 아니 등박 제바 그 댄식이 와래. 대박이 내수 샤와데 가르래서나.
So then the function of this kind of faith is such that it serves as the foundation for aspiration, for a kind of intention to enter into the Mahayana.
되니 성장 동아지 나와라 미세비 년지 첨부되기 아니 주체비 아니 조리 창조라 전에 그 등바장바 쳐봐.
So then, great compassion acts as a cause for which brings about also the enthusiastic intention to strive for perfect awakening, for complete awakening.
저를 자주 등바장바 쳐봐 인상 등바 쳐. 아니 가서래 전에 그 등바 텔라 때네 아니 산제주 곧 안에 가서를 주 산재고 주 되니까 좀 받달라는 산재 탐지기 아니 주주버 쳐봐 유라 되니까 좀 받겠니 와 소비 자주 되니지 좀 받겠니 찬샘 깨니 좀 받겠네 되네 산재 요 공방 탑지기 아니 주주버라 되니지 거 와 산재 탑지기 유라 되니지 그 탑신이라 되니지
So this then that kind of based upon that kind of faith and interest, admiration, faith, and then the sort of intention to enter into it. Based upon that, it brings about the interest, which is a striving towards the causes of Buddhahood. So then, based upon that, then one generates the bodhicitta, and then gradually, in sequence, one develops by practicing and taking up and practicing the meditative concentrations, which integrate the shamatha and vipassana, the tranquil abiding and insight kinds of meditation that brings those together within the Mahayana sort of meditation like that. It brings about that gradually.
Oh yeah, that the 아니 유튜브다 대차차차
나시비 드립 대신 좀 그런 디숭숭 나시비 드립에 대신 좀바 쉐바차
가자 드바티시 좀 봐줘
대시 좀
봐시 콘티제비 드바시요와
So then based upon that practicing of those kinds of meditative concentration, then one is able to one should understand that one is able to destroy those four kinds of obscurations which were previously explained. So now we've gotten in the verse where it's enumerated the 10 qualities there, 10 properties, which it starts off by nature, and then it goes verse 29 where it says nature, cause, effect, action, and so forth. In getting into the where it says result and action, we've arrived at that point.
Oh yeah, 아니 대컨디스레서나 아니 장다 대단 단이지 연된 바로 침반제 가서 동아 이중 시대바 된단 멤버 내sen노 세대기 차측제 시도가 측제 수시바 시오되기 당보니오되기 안에 대비 연대들 더 뒤내된 아니 가서 동아 이중 시도바 된단 멤버 내sen노 세대기 아니 덴바디 더 뒤내셔 거래 와
Dembe, Dambo, Drebo, Demba. So then verse 34, where it says pure self, bliss, and permanence, the qualities of those, by perfecting those qualities, we have the result. That then intention and prayer possesses the activity of enabling one to achieve the peace which is which has the ability to achieve renunciation of suffering and peace. So the first of these explains the result, and then the second one explains then he lay. And the second two explain the action, activity.
다 제비네 가서 중앙인장 다 오도 신이 예와샤고 인다데 도된 가서 장다 대당 땅이지 연된 바로 침받대 어디 다 호텔에 상와단 다 탐바당 대와단 따반이지 바로도 침받 타투반 침받나 바로 침받 타투바고 세대 타투바데 저부레 세가나 다 전도 아니 제비 연대도 오라마
So here, first there's a brief explanation or brief expression of these four. And it says that the perfection of the good qualities, which are purity, purity, self, bliss, and permanence are the result. Where it says self there, it's referring to the perfection of the supreme self. That gets explained in more detail subsequently. And here in this introduction to this, we covered that more generally.
동아 이슈 시토바 된다면배 레전노 세계 자와테기 다 레기 된 돌도 디셔거
Then in the verse here, the two lines, suffering, renunciation, the obtainment of peace, are the actions of interest and prayer, or intention and prayer. Those explain briefly the activities here.
간절해서나 리단 댐비 첼레데라 감도라시비 님보 오다 디신시비 아니 구주릉 산제주 구주릉 리단 댐비 첼레당 쳐바데 가르레 센다나 아니 거의 동안 남에서 봐 콘도 치네 리데라 리그나라 리데라다 genju기리요와 사벤티 세니 genju기리지 사벤티 아니 gen지도지 세디 지신시비 안에 틀에 초월어서비 gen지 세디 gen지 도지 리기 누바디야 세디자바 아니 거의 동안 남에서봐 라미서봐 콘도 치네 아니 거의 동안에 이중심 아니 시원 양대라 아니 냥알 대와 동안에와 시비 니시라 아니 톰되기 뜸받게
So therefore, this verse is here explaining how the aspect of where we talk about the lineage, and the lineage has two parts. The lineage here, where it's referred to as the developmental or evolutionary lineage, that portion of the essence of the Tathagata Garbha, which is the developmental lineage. It's functioning, and within that, it's the portion of it which refers to the Nubayorwa.
Nubatima Sebalatane. Tishibi Chile Troalatane. Ani Rangi Kamji or Kachini Kamgitila Kamdela New Yabanana, Yubinane, Dujegi. Genjugi Samisimji Sabin to Nuva de Ba Seni Sabala Dene, and it take Genji, Chile Trovada, Reginuva Sabi Tabji, and you call Koyutunga, Tondiji, and you Koyutunga, nothing, Sabate, nothing, Ram Misaba the Conchini. 미세바 콘도 지리 간라 동안 메데나 안에 동안라 탄력이 탄력이 롬 동안라 이중하기 로데 라슈 정도로 와
주그룽기 누바 요래 누바디 드네 주그룽기 누바
누바데 사바라데
누바데 세바라데
누바 세스나 누바데 콜 누바 요바데다 가서를 제 출력이 땡기 땡기 사병기 땡도 아니 가서 누구 깨지기 누와데 아니 출력이 땡기야 세게 와라 대난신 전이 쓰거래.
So this here, this is referring to this nature of the this dimension of the Tathagata Garbha, which here is referred to as lineage. And is referred to specifically as the developmental lineage, or the lineage which gives rise to development. This is referring to a kind of power or ability that exists, which such that when it when it's affected or ripened, it's germinated by the divine activities of the Dharmakaya. It can therefore, by means of that sort of germination, it can develop such that it can enter into the path and develop in that way. This is referring, or it's analogous here to like a seed, an ordinary seed that of a plant. Within the seed, there's some kind of potency or potential power, such that when the conditions are right, where you have water and warmth and earth and so forth, those cooperative conditions, that power or potency within the seed can germinate and then develop into a grown plant.
냥알에 대와라 토바라 dum바께와. right. 그 dum바께와나 아니다 가서래 대토바를 주지 냥도 아니 멤버기 레전. 와 인상단다 되길래 대가서래 텐딜로 깨와나 로제와데 다르여발라 때나 깨와 인상 로제와데 르기 첼라라
So then where the verse says the having some intention towards and aspiration towards the achievement of becoming renunciation towards suffering and the achievement of peace. That's referring to the activity, the functionality of this lineage, which is that power which can be actualized through its germination. And here it's it has that ability. It has that functionality. It has that function of giving rise to interest in the Dharma and interest and aspiration to achieve, first of all, recognition of suffering, renunciation of that suffering, and the wish to achieve the peace, which is the liberation from that suffering, and to practice the path which leads to that peace.
아니 추구 칠레 초장 누잘라 초장 누지 띵도 아니 가설에 산제주고 주run기 사매선지 사뱀 연주디 이렇게 매나 아니 칠레 초장 아니 가설에 사뱀 매바 인상 아니 칠레 주박 심명이 말이 와사변도 여장 칠레 아니 사변도 여바 인상 아니 칠레 초디장바 아니 가설에 틀에 초와라 때네 되니그 dum바 제당 코와라 이중 제대 연구바리 사베데면은 코와라 이중 제당 냥데라 되니 제와데 매바 되니지 dum바 제 매바 인자 제수 정도 그샤와 tukstu고래 제수 정도.
Therefore, this power of the lineage, which is that developmental aspect of the developmental lineage aspect of the essence of the Tathagata Garbha. That here is described as a seed. The seed here is some kind of interest in the Mahayana Dharma and enthusiasm or intention to enter into it. That kind of mind has to be present. Has to be. You have to have that as a kind of seed. Otherwise, without that seed present within one's mind, there's no way for the divine activities of the Dharmakaya, even though they're constantly being emitted from the Dharmakaya, you don't have any receptivity, and thus there's no way, without that seed there's nothing for those activities to act upon and to germinate such that one can wake up and develop into such that one's mind can then develop.
Oh yeah, that thing
So this is a brief explanation of the activity or function of the of that. So then the following verse 35, explains this, that the result of these results are in brief. Let's see, how's it translated here?
In
the translation here, it says, in brief, the fruits of these are attainment of the four, distinguished as purity and so forth, through being antidotes that are opposite to the four erroneous aspects with respect to the Dharmakaya.
No. Deda Daniel Dojana said, Tiba Chimbi Cheta Yagi, Dewudi could see Dewure and a Mevala Sovaki. Tiba Chimbi Chela Mevala Sova, Kondo Shabaki, Mevala Sova Tataki, Debuni, Dordina, Anetishi Shibukula, Chijilo Nambashila Dobaki.
So this is saying here then that in brief then the results of these admiration towards the Mahayana Dharma, etc. Those are in brief the turning away from the four types of erroneous things with respect to the Dharmakaya.
Oh yeah. Chijukula Chijilo number Shilan Dobi Nimboshi Chijilo Shipambe Ane Okaso Pambe Rab to Chava or Pambe Rab to Chava and Devushi Pamba Zamji and Devushi Tande Tadashi Pamba Pambagi and Taduki Devushi.
So then likewise the antidotes are distinguished by means of this reversal from those four kinds of erroneous attitudes or erroneous perceptions with respect to the Dharmakaya, and by means of that reversal or the abandonment of those erroneous attitudes, then Namshile tope nimbo.
Oh, Namashilan Tobi, Nimbo Shi, Nimbo Mewala, so was she, and a Chijilo Shi Pambe, and be Tande Tata Geparo Chimbashi.
So then the antidotes then function to cause one to turn away from those four kinds of erroneous perceptions with respect to the Dharmakaya. And the abandonment of those 4 kinds of erroneous conceptions with respect to the Dharmakaya then enables one to achieve the perfection, the results, which are the perfections of the of purity, self, bliss, and permanence.
대다그 대체될 가라 아니 친지로당 아니 친지로 그냥 보니 시작해야래.
So then in order to explain this, we have to explain what is erroneous and what is 진지로.
친지로당 친지로 되게 연비 방비 대원이 시작해야.
And then what is the erroneous, and what is it that is the abandonment by means of the antidote, the abandonment of that kind of those erroneous ways of thinking.
다 친지로 되라. 아니 군조비 들루라 친지로 지당. 전담비 들루라 친지로 지기 이상.
So these erroneous attitudes or perceptions are subdivided into 2 types. One type has to do with erroneous attitudes towards just 군소비 남샤.
군소비 들루라 친지로도 샴바 지당. 전담비 들루라 친지로도 샴바 직체. 아니 전담비 친지로 니워데 방비 저위 예와 전에 다사지 숨저 정도도 봐.
So then we can subdivide this subject here into 3 things. One, which is the erroneous attitudes which have to do with the way things exist on the conventional level, and then erroneous attitudes with respect to the way things exist on the ultimate level. And then the third topic here would be the result of getting rid of those kinds of erroneous attitudes by means of the antidote.
Oh yeah, that 되게 군소비 들루라 친지로 봐라. 군소라 들루라 되게 친지로 봐대라. 난 단다디 동아dem비 체주도 중이. 동아dem바들라 체주 시체니까 미다바 동아와 동아 다음에 봐. 전에 체주 시도 시작이면. 봐. 어 되게 내가 다 친지로 되라. 미다바라 다바 쯤바. 동아라 대와 쯤바. 미상완라 장완 쯤바 다도 마주와라 다도 주가 쯤바 아니 친지로 남바시 독세라 군조비 친지로 남바시.
So in terms of the first of those, that is the erroneous attitudes with respect to the conventional way things are. These have to do with things that are found in the mutakpa yoro mutakpa the 진실로 시디드
미다발라 임발라 풍부 미다바 임발라 다바쯤바
디 무탁바 미탁바
깨지
So these 4 erroneous kinds of attitudes are as follows. Basically, grasping at that which is impermanent as if it was permanent. Grasping at that which is suffering as if it was happiness, as if it was pleasurable or pleasant.
미다바 지단 체제 쇼데 미다바 동아와 아니 동아스그래 동아스그래 아니 다메스그래 와 미상와 미상와데 동아나라 조고래 다르와 미상와데 동아 친지로라 조고래 지단 친지로 자디 가라 아니 친지로 시디 가라 아니 체제 쇼데 가라 미다바 동아와 동화 다음에 봐시자.
알레.
그래서 봐. 대 미다바 동화 대비 체제 시오드체.
기주시. 공다.
양바 시와라. 동화 대비 가나 동화 대비 체제 시.
알레 뭐 공다. Yeah, so these are then explained as being like special properties of the 4 truths. And these are then true suffering. So I'm sorry. These are special features of the first of the four truths of true suffering. The mitapa latapa zimba, mitapa.
Dungawa.
Suffering. So first is impermanence. Second is suffering.
Dungawa.
Empty.
Dameba.
And selfless. Those four characteristics or special properties of the truth of suffering.
Te dunga de bi chaji shuo de che. Ta tela loba shuwa sina ani tigi loba shuwa sergala midaba yimbala midaba la loba shude taba simba.
So the first of these is then, this first kind of erroneous attitude would be falsely, wrongly apprehending that which is impermanent as if it was permanent.
And
then the second one is grasping at that which arises under the control of karma and the mental afflictions, which is suffering by nature, as if it was happiness.
Digi Jatan Kante Jagore Sana Mizami Ze Sojuki Kangwi Naranj Pumbo Tedang Da Niwodi Ani Dadan Pumbo Niwodi Wota Debi Tongwa Wota Debi Tongwa Tigi Lojo Ani Kasore Ti Tongwa Ki Lojo Ki Datu Chuba Rapa Zimba Dabung Wota Debi Zimba Dada Pumbo Wota Debi Zimba Dada Pumbong Ojigrawa, Dada Pumbong, the Mizawana Zangwa Zimba said the Tunda Karishagua Sana, Mizami Ze Sojuki, Kangwi, Sajan Yelingi, Pumbote, Roa, Ali Kase, Pumbotetan, Da Niwodi, Wotade Tonwati, Wotade Tonwa, Tegi, Lojola, Wotade to Chuatimba.
So this third one is it can be expressed in terms of being empty, but you can also apply here the category of impure, grasping at that which is impure as if it was pure. Here, this is referring to holding that there's a self which is of a different nature from the impure aggregates, whereas the person or self is actually of the same nature as the impure aggregates, samsaric persons. Therefore, to view that which is the person here or the self as if it were of a different nature from the impure aggregates which are produced by karma and mental afflictions, then that would be seeing that which is impure as if it was pure. And also, this is misapprehending that that's here the quality of being empty.
And
the last one is grasping at that which is not established as a self, as if it was established as a self.
Chaji Shu de la Jordana, Don Damenila, Mitabata, Dunga Jordana, Tai Chabashira, Chabashira, Marimando, Don Dame, Jotutela, and it Tanju Wadan, or Ranjuba Manjani would be Medari.
So then, in terms of these four characteristics or special properties, as far as the first two is concerned, there's not much difference really in terms of the way they're explained by all of the different systems of Buddhist philosophy. But in terms of the last two, the empty and selfless aspects, those two are, there's quite a big difference with respect to the Prasangika school as opposed to the way the other schools of philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, explain this.
다음에 라 차라 샤고와 이제 가상가만 가지고 콘도시와 나신체니 다음에 생각인데 탄주와기 아니 가사가 다음에 세대 차와 랑 천이 추와 까봐 그봐 대마 추와 까봐 텔레샤고 알바 오마게 가사가 다음에 세대 와라 마샤바 라자 투비 자이도 메발에 자고 와래.
So with respect to the self and selflessness, the big difference here is with respect to the Prasangika school is that the Prasangika school says that the selflessness of the person is here referring to subtle selflessness, that the person is not established by means of its own intrinsic identity, or it's not established as real, whereas the other schools would all say that the selflessness refers to the person not being existing as a self-sufficient substance.
풍부미다바 소스 또비 셰럽데 풍부미다바 또비 셰럽데 동아데비 체질이 수이 미다바 또비 풍부미다바 다 아니 사제니레지 풍부미다바 소 또비 셰럽데 아니 사제니레지 풍부 아니 가 따바 소스 따바 진비 로테당 미유 찌라미네 미유 다시 사제니레지 풍부텔라 미네 미다바 또비 로테 미다바 또 그 로조기 다바 진바 인자 미바 지레미네 진당 뭔가 아스가래 고소
Помимо метаба то еще.
풍부 메타바 또 로테 풍부 메타바 또 로테 셰람니 풍부 다바 소즈 진비 로테나 풍부 다바 소즈 진비 로테당 미바 지레미네 진당 뭔가래 미바 풍부라 미네 메타바 또 로테 메타바 또 당진되기 다바 진바르와 미바 찌르미나 진당 원가래 찌게 다바 찌게 미다바 진바 인장 미바 찌르미나 진당 원가래
So then, with respect to the first of these, grasping at the aggregates as being permanent, where the wisdom which understands that the aggregates are impermanent and so forth, is a direct antidote or directly contrary in terms of the way its mode of apprehension with respect to the aggregates and permanence and so forth. So the way this works is that the mind which grasps at the aggregates as being permanent and so forth, it takes a single perceptual object and then has its mode of apprehension as grasping them as being permanent and so forth. Whereas this wisdom that realizes that the aggregates are impermanent is the exact opposite of that. Its mode of apprehending the object here, the aggregates, is contrary to the way the previous cognition worked. The previous one sees the aggregates, holds to them as being permanent, whereas this wisdom understands that takes the same object here, the aggregates, but understands that they're opposite of that, that they're impermanent.
풍부대 미다바 임바 나신체니 풍부 미다바 임바게 내주단 춘발 아니 풍부 미다바 또 로티기 전부 또와 인장 아니 풍부 미다바 또 로티 치지 말아 버리 풍부
Therefore the mind which understands that the aggregates are impermanent, this is in accord with the way things actually are conventionally or phenomenally. That is, that the aggregates themselves are conventionally, phenomenally impermanent. Therefore, the mind, the cognition that apprehends the aggregates as being impermanent is itself in accord with that conventional nature of the aggregates, and in being contrary to the mind which falsely apprehends the aggregates as being permanent, it's the opposite of that, and therefore it is instead of being erroneous, as is the case of the first kind of misapprehension of the aggregates as being permanent, it's not erroneous. It's correct.
오래 대이자 풍부 따바서서 짐바데 아니 풍부 미다바기 유택이 아니 유택이 내루단 틈바 안에 치질로 지금 내루단 믿음바 치질로 지금 바 인장 안에 치질라 샤고와리 스와 치질로
풍부 So therefore, then because the mind which apprehends the aggregates as being impermanent is correct or not erroneous, that establishes then that the mind which misapprehends or grasps at the aggregates as being permanent is erroneous.
어디 나타나시 전에 강가를 자주래서 풍부 아니 다들 풍부 동아와 도빌로데 안에 풍부 대화를 준비된지 풍부 안에 가서래 동아와 도빌로데 안에 대화를 준비 and the
you do the same thing applies to the other three. For example, the mind which erroneously grasps at the aggregates as being the nature of pleasure or happiness is counteracted, is contradicted by the understanding, the mind that understands that the aggregates are not of the nature of happiness or not pleasurable.
대신도 미상에 제 소주 강하위 풍부 풍부단 제위 땡도 다 강사라잖아 지고 아래 어디 땡도 아니 나 랑자 나 가서 나 라바 나도 주와 라바 준비 년보대라 아니 다음에 라바 또 빌로티.
And similarly then in terms of the self, the mind which erroneously, incorrectly apprehends the aggregates as being characterized by a self, that kind of mind which grasps at a self which is a self-sufficient substance and erroneously grasps the aggregates as if they possess such a or were of the nature of a self-sufficient, had a self which was the nature of a self-sufficient substance. That is
다시 치마데라 아니 풍부 다도 마주바 다도 추와 짐바티기 년보대 다음에 또 비치로.
So then the rough or the coarser kind of understanding of selflessness is the apprehension of the absence of any kind of self-sufficiency, a self which is a self-sufficient substance existing within the aggregates, which is thus the contrary or the antidote to erroneous apprehension of a self-sufficient self within the aggregates.
어때 루시체 다 추구라도디 치질로도 샤바데 간들에서나 추구 코랑 치질로도 샤야데 안데 마사바체 다지나지 미다발라 자 치질로 세데 마사바체 추구라도디 치질로도 세반디 샤바니 풍부 미다바서서 덴바진비 덴진라 풍부 미다바 덴바진비 덴진라 추구라도디 치질로 대샤바
풍부 미다바진비
미다바서 덴바진비 덴진데 추구라도디 치질로.
So then, how these get applied to the Dharmakaya is different from how they've been explained up above. Here, what we're referring to is that holding, if one apprehends the Dharmakaya as if the impermanence of it was real or established, was real, then that would be erroneously apprehending, erroneous apprehension with respect to the Dharmakaya.
Oh yeah, that the Kaju Dovati Shamoka Chera. That Tijela Dame Demba Timba Rabi Dame Demba Timba Minjis, Timba Yinjis, Dame Demba Timba said, Tadu Matuba, Dame Demba Timba said, Dame Demba Timba said, Rabi Timba Yinji, Chami Dame Demba Timba Maris, Careers and a Chavi Dame, Chame Tosin Majina Tendi Da. Gabi Gaba, then do Tumda La Chawa, Tumda Chawa, Mississippi. That they can do this and the Gabi Chinji Law, Tella, Ani Tumda Lebi, Ani Tumda and Grota, Gunda in Wagware. Gunda Hakwe, Tumda, Tenzin Gunda says you are.
Tenzin Kuda,
Yamon Gunda says, Tombang says you are.
the Rakpa Denzo Kunda Rakpa Denzo
Rapa Singendela Casare, Trupta Gingabe, Giabe, Riba Tanang La Tene, and they touch you to the re, Yamdo, Vinja Chilola Tene, touch you to the re, touch you to Rap Casa Pumba, Casa Tapare, Yamdo, touch you to Gunjangi. Gunjan, Tanala Tenant, of Kansa de Tapare, Yam to Zingandela, Tangzin Gundas.
So to understand how these, like grasping at the Dharmakaya, the impermanence of it as being real, and grasping at its other properties as being real, how this is being applied to the Dharmakaya, we have to go back and say that you have to be able to differentiate between this kind of grasping at things which is simply intellectually acquired, or the product of like ideation, some kind of philosophical analysis, as opposed to that which is innate or is innate to a person. The first of these, that is that which is the result of imagination, is such as thinking that the aggregates are permanent based on some kind of reason, where you do an analysis, and based upon a philosophical of the topic, you come to believe that this is, that based on erroneous kind of reasoning, you come to believe that this is really the way it is. These aggregates are really permanent, and the same thing applying to the other three qualities of them.
Dame de la Kandishi Shagre is an Rabi Dame. Dame Demba Zimbaya, Rabi Dame Demba Zimba, Re, Mado, Chavi Dame, Kansa Korangi, Teme Dosin, and Majeba, Majena, and Chavi Dame, the Dadu Trua, touching Dadu Trua Zimba, the Yonsa Yomares.
Di Konda, does anyone know where we are in the page here?
183, 7 lines.
Yeah, 183, 7 lines up.
Dame Demba Zimba de Captain Chijilotala, Dame Demba Zimba de la Ani Chijilotala, Gunda Inquare. Gunda Hakosan. Oh, Gunda Goa Inza, that tender with Dame Demba Zinseg, Dame de Rabbit Dame Demba, touching the rabbit Dame Demba to a touching the rabbit Demba to a Zin, the rabbit Dame Demba to a Zimbares. Tema Imba Gasore Chavi Dame Chamode, Rangi Cheme Do Mase, Machiba, and Tempe Singuna. Dame ba todu zamba ta datu chua re ta ji de datu chua re yambaki zamba ji yonsa ma re.
So here
that chawa misibichi.
Dubra chawa misibechi.
춥다 켈렘바 라다도 투바레스 켈레용 시그마레스 다도 마두바 참에 또기라 다도 투바레스 제니 켈레용 셰사요 마레스 켈렘바 춥다 차와스나 춥대 켈렘바 시기라와
So here it's saying that where one's in terms of like understanding the selflessness of the Dharmakaya as being real and grasping at that as being real, this is not referring to the coarse sort of some sort of coarse grasping at that which is selfless as being real.
This is why Tanda di la chijilo di sharwa, dame damba zibi chijilo di sharwa, datu majuba, dame damba chijilo sharwa. Yinza dame damba zimba seyede, rabi dame, gunda shasati. Rabi dame damba zibi dinzin la shakures, rawa, dinzires, rabi dame damba zibi dinzires. Chayi dame damba zibi dinzin mares. Tema imba karresana, chayi dame to sing, to rangi chame to. 아니 템베 마제나 템베 마제바 여기라 아니 다도 추버레 냠도 춤데 켈렌지가 켈렌바 용사요 말레스
켈렌바치 용사요 말
템바 도사르와
템바 도사스 아레 제산 켈 줍다 켈렌요 말
줍다 퀴 줍다 켈렌 거라 줍다 차지 그또 차르와 다고 줍다 세야지 괜지 균세지 줍다 생한데 랑게 균제 수고로 와 줍다 현바지 된데지 남배 줍다 지로 줍다 된데지 이까지 고고 말해
sorry I'm struggling with this no not in front of me
쟤는 직수다 쟤는 직수다
yeah no yeah where 62 top also, holding no self to truly exist is to hold coarse no self as truly existing. Because having perceived the subtle no self with valid perception and keeping it in mind, it is not possible to hold a tenet which believes that such a refutation is truly existing.
치질로 군다티.
Okay. 치질로 로사.
투어를 랍사이와 말했을 거래.
투주버레 아빠 말해.
또 차려와.
또 차려. 오래래래. 오래. 다시. 네.
알랍시고 말했으니까 그 참에 또 차려와.
그래.
야. 내가 좋아. 그래도 구발했어 그래서.
그래.
로슈 샤사 디갑지 로슈 데라 치질로 데라 군다지 고고 와레스 거래.
군다기 고기.
군다지. 군다 생게디 춥다기 르바기 춥다게 줄레바 뭐 르바 따나라 때나 타치도 쯤비쯤바지 고고 와레스.
군다래.
와 군다 생각되라.
니 lokpashba dila slinke yorbe. Okay mare. slinke mare.
그런 말이. 현재 말이 저런데 군다리 제장 군다리 따디 돌아마도 군다리스 군다리와 인장 다 단단 디기 다음에 가서 다음에 담바 쯤바 생각이 라비 다음에 담바 쯤바라 시그리 마데 차위 다음에 담바 쯤바라 시금 아레스 군다티 저와 대미세 바가레에서나 차위 다음에 된루까비 데메테 랑기 참에 또 참에 또 아니 또와 마세 템베 마셔 봐 여기라 아나 템버 투어 레스테니 람가 용구 마레스 거래 데스 거래
So then the kind of self, the grasping at a self, which is being referred to here, necessarily has to be something that's intellectually acquired through some kind of philosophical process of investigation or based on some kind of reasoning, which is invalid or fallacious. The reason for this is that if you have gone through a philosophical analysis and have established through that the self is not real, then you wouldn't go based upon that. Once you've done that kind of investigation and through reasoning have established that the self is not real, you wouldn't then come to think, oh, that self is real. If you were to do that, then you would be foolish. Okay.
参与咱们前辈，刚才参与咱们前面多生马这比康萨比的居了，安尼卡说的，参与咱们的嘛这比电子剧院呐。So
therefore, somebody who has gone through this kind of philosophical investigation and has determined through with valid cognition, through reasoning, that the self is that there is no real self, that kind of person couldn't have then this coarse kind of grasping at the self as being real, the sort of coarse grasping at a self of real as being real, which is only acquired through philosophical analysis. Therefore, the kind of grasping at a self which we're referring to has to be some kind of subtle and innate type of grasping at a self.
安尼当你让个参与出来，对不对？当你的两把这边定正了，现在用啥用马来是？现在现在看的人话呢是呢，他妈没办呢，安尼满足我是个个人是，可能当把你了可能那个当只我是个人，当把你了他妈你呢，安尼可能满足我印象，当把你两把这边定正的了，定正现在用个马来，这里。
So also then, in terms of the base that one is grasping at as being real here, that can't possibly be emptiness. Emptiness itself doesn't serve as a suitable object for grasping at something as being real. The emptiness which has existed within us from beginningless time, within samsara, from beginningless time, cannot serve as the base for the misapprehension which grasps at something which grasps at as emptiness as being real.
Yes, sir. What? 当把你了，靠他妈没把呢，马这样，当你等把准备，定正现在要把它搞完嘛的是，
啦，对，
当把你了，靠他妈没把呢，靠马这样，当把你等把准备，定正现在要把它搞完嘛的。
托尼了，等把准备真吧。
定正现在，
定正现在，
现在要把它搞完嘛的。
定正现在了，搞完
要把没要把你个，
公的，你托尼了。等把准备真吧，
真把现在也超过的是呢，是吧？当把你了，当把你了，靠他们没把呢那样，啊，你当你等把准备，定正现在也超过的是。
这是
啊，
公吧，
没这个，没这个，控制没吧？当把你了，他们没把那控制有啊，没人没那样是吧？
So even though there's no one that's ever been conditioned or habituated to grasping at emptiness, emptiness as being real, from beginningless time. Emptiness has existed within samsara from beginningless time, and there's no one who's been habituated to that, to grasping at that as being real. Nevertheless, it's not contradictory to say that there is a kind of innate apprehension or grasping at emptiness as being real.
Tibachibi lam debutan chair Kotoma mebane, Madriva ready. Ani Ribe Jabala Madeva Tibachibi lam debutan Java, Dembatsimbi Tintin Henry Yabanashire.
This is explained that Pechaka Kama. Where were we in the text? What page are we on there? 183? Bottom? No, I think, 184? The Bishop is she.
Tembazi Bishi is to
Bishi.
Tibachi lam debutan Java.
Also,
What Tibachi, Tembazi Bishi, Tibachi lam debutan Javala, and a Toma Quatoma Bane, Dura Machavares, Majanayang, Riba Java Machaba, Java Chavala, Madeba, Tibachi lam debutan Java, Dembashamba, Tinzil Henry.
So there's no fault here in terms of this explanation that even though no one has ever been habituated or is conditioned to acquainted with grasping at emptiness as being real from beginningless time, nevertheless, it is the case that there is a emptiness as such, grasping it as being real. Nevertheless, there's no contradiction here in saying that there is innate grasping at emptiness as being real. The reason for this, or the reason there's no fault with this statement, is that it's similar to the way in which, as a basis for grasping at things as being real, together with its the Mahayana path, together with its results. Even though it's not been mixed up with or mixed up with the samsara from beginningless time, it's possible without depending upon any rational investigation to see that and then to give rise to grasping at it as being real. And this would be also innate, some sort of innate grasping at it as being real.
Oi, Shantuna, Ratele, Shantu, Denzin Hanji Mena, Tibachi Lam Debuta Java, Tembachi Denzin Hanji Mena, so Shantuna. Umbato Jane Sumbis, and I want to Jenge Kausu. Tibachi Kwamba Sunzi Toba Thomas Sumbana Chatumeba Juros, and I want to Jenge Kaula, Tibachimbogi, Kwamba Sinica, Kunda Mayimba, Kenji, and a Sunzing Toba Mabosh, Tibachi Lamdela Mubi, Sunzing Toba Mabosuma to Tasha Mares.
Tapachimbu Lamla.
Lamla Mipi, Lamda, Uta Java, Mipi. Kwani Sunzing Toba Kombang Sina Henji Sigware, Kolon Kunda Pansarva. Oh, I know Kombang Toba that I shot to Choshi, and he shot him grace.
So otherwise, if it was otherwise, then it wouldn't be proper to do the kind of presentation which is found in the Abhisamayalankara, or the Ornament for the Realizations, in which it's said that there are obscurations which have to be abandoned within the path of meditation, which have to do with which take the Mahayana path itself as an observed object, and those kinds of obscurations it wouldn't be proper to present them at all. And then also zungzingi namba tokpa.
sha tu kumares command to sunde na ba to ba tenza
And then also, as well as the different kinds, there are very different kinds of thought which grasp subject and object as being dual. Those also, it wouldn't be proper to present those as things to be abandoned on the path of meditation.
Oh yeah.
Taking on the Shima Japa